Hello class, welcome to week 7, and I just want to say hello. I'm alive. Are you all alive? Are we alive? I got a lozenge in my mouth. Man, do I feel I'm still feeling kind of awful. This is definitely a really intense flu, cold season, whatever. So I'm on antibiotics, and at some point, hopefully, I can sound like a normal human being, and even better yet, feel like one. Man, and like I mentioned, I got to move at the end of the month, so there's all this stuff like in the back, and then throughout this apartment that need to be dealt with. So I'm just like, y'all feel me? Y'all feel me? Okay. So look, I just want to say a few things. The majority of you are doing fine, and the majority of you are doing well on the papers. You know, I gave 2 weeks for the India papers. Most of you took advantage of that time and did fine. Some of you, okay, at this late in the game, we really need to figure this out. Some of you just got behind, and you know why you get lower scores on your papers, because you just didn't have the time to put into it. There's nothing for me to say about that, and I'm not scolding you. I get it. I made those kind of choices too in college, and you know, it's better to get, like, let's say 10 points as opposed to 0, or even a few points is better than 0. But it's kind of my last reminder. Because we're at this far in the game, I shouldn't have to remind this, but I just want to say, what am I doing again when I look at papers? Last time I'll say this, I look for specific content we cover directly in the lectures. Then I read your paper. Okay? So, you know, like sometimes I look and I'm like, where's the stuff? There's like a little bit here, and someone's giving me a lot of paper. I don't make you do this for you to show me that you can write a paper or tell a story. I do it for you to demonstrate knowledge of what we covered directly. And it's not a research paper, so I don't mind per se. I graded full points for some that use outside sources, but you shouldn't be using outside sources. Stick to what we're talking about. Because the only reason why I'm having you do these papers is to show what you learned. And so that leads me to the exam. We got the exam coming up. When I say topics, pick topics and use 4 different ones, kind of reiterating, you could talk about, if you have enough material for 2 pages, the role of women in 4 different religions or cultures. You could talk about the different concepts or perceptions, the way that aspect of God is dealt with. You know, the Chinese concept of God is clearly much more abstract. And then you could talk about, you know, then compare and contrast that to India and the way that can be done in a wide variety of ways. If you have any question about what to expect of what I would expect on the exam paper, then call me up, please. And as I encourage you, text me if I don't answer the phone, and then I will call you back when I can. I want to help people. I mean, I like giving the most points as possible. I just can't justify giving you a lot of points compared to somebody else if somebody else is putting in a lot of material there, and you're putting in like very little. Okay. So that's all. Again, I think you guys will see though that if you've been hanging in there this far and you're doing the work, even if you've struggled a little bit here and there, you're doing great. So this week we cover ancient Persia, and then we talk about Zoroastrianism. I love this because this is a religion that most of you will have never heard of, and yet you're going to see that it has so many ideas that resonate, that sound familiar. And it is such an important world religion, and you will see, you will kind of become into, you're going to be coming into a club, so to speak, of world history and philosophers and people who have thought heavily about Zoroaster, whoever he was, and the concepts that come out of ancient Persia. Okay, and so I'm looking forward to this section with you guys. I always look forward to all of these topics. And by the way, I showed you one last clip that was not required in my announcement on China. The current president of China, President Xi, just basically has become president for life, and he's reasserting himself. And I've been watching a lot of documentaries, and I have a lot of friends living in China and other parts of Southeast Asia, and I'm probably going to be living in Thailand relatively soon, still working, teaching online with the online stuff, or certainly just staying there for quite a bit, which I can do that online. I can't do that in China, by the way. China, they don't allow Facebook. It's much more controlled. The bottom line is that China is really coming on strong into the world scene, and so a lot, Asia, like these sections that you're learning are really going to help you start to grasp so many things going on in the world events. Even though we're working with the ancient times, it's still going to start helping you as you kind of like really look at the broader context. So here we're looking at Persia, which is ancient Iran. That is properly called Iran, but Iran is fine because that's in English. That's what we usually say, Iran. And anyhow, excuse me. So I'll end it there, and I'm glad to be feeling a little more peppy. Maybe I'll even do something really exciting, like take a small walk. And all right, I'll end it there. So you guys have a good day. Let's keep in touch if needed.